What up, guys? This is Joey John at Mahalo Games here, and we are moving on in our walkthrough for Diablo 2 with a Paladin. So what we got here is a level 34 Paladin. This is the Paladin that we took through normal difficulty level. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start this guy on Nightmare Mode. Now, Nightmare Mode is the next difficulty level that happens after you... Let's change our webcam here a little bit. There we go. Hey! Welcome back. Nightmare Mode is what... God, I swear to God, the air in here is so dry. My nose is always itching. What's going on next is Nightmare Mode is the next difficulty level. We're going to play the game over again, but everything's going to be harder. The loot is going to be better, and we're going to feel a lot better about ourselves for doing it. So, some things to note in Nightmare Mode as we get started here. Nightmare. Some things to note. A. All of our resistances have dropped by 50. This is to make things harder. This is to make things harder, and it is definitely going to be so. However, I took steps to rectify this. Rectify. So, what I did was, while we were gone here, in between difficulty levels, I went ahead and I did some leveling, and I did some item runs. Now, item runs are when you actually go back to bosses or other things like that and repeatedly kill them as quickly as possible in order to get better runs. This is a totally common thing in Diablo 2, especially on Battle.net. The Mephisto run is probably the most popular one because he's easy to get to, he's easy to kill, and he drops great loot. So anyway, here's what we got. From that, we got some new gauntlets. These are set gauntlets from the Saigon set. These are okay. These are not going to last us throughout Nightmare, but they're okay for now. We found ourselves a rare belt. It's not bad. It gives us faster hit recovery, which will really help us when we get surrounded by guys. A little bit of lightning resistance. In Helm mode and Nightmare mode, you absolutely need resistance. Those are the same dual leech rings. That's the same armor. We're going to replace that eventually. That's the same helm. It's just giving us some MF. We need to replace that, though, because it's quickly going to show its obsoleteness. The talisman is still there. The resistances is great. The resistance plus magic find on that, it'll stick around until we find something better. I also found Saigon's guard tower shield. Now, this means that I have two pieces of one set, and that's really critical because even though Saigon's guard is not as good, not nearly as good as this gemmed Akarantaj with 3 open spaces left, it is not anywhere close to it, but it is part of a set to which I have 2 pieces. I have 2 pieces to the Saigon set, so it's going to take. I'm going to take a hit on my defense a little bit, which is okay for now, because the guard shield gives me +1 to all skills. Great. It also has a increased chance of blocking inherently, and when I have 2 pieces together, I get, as a set bonus, I get 10% lifesteal, and when you combine 2 pieces, the gauntlets get an extra 30% increased attack speed. That's been helping me out a lot during my runs, needless to say. But I will switch to this eventually when these 2 items, these 2 set items, become obsolete, because I can socket this with more flawless gems, more flawless diamonds, and I will have huge resistance, which will carry me probably through Bale, unless I find something better. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and check my stash. I found also some set heavy gloves that were doing me well before I found the Saigon gloves. These ones are really good by themselves. They're better than the Saigon gloves by themselves, but once I found 2 pieces of the Saigon set, this gets 30% increased attack speed and 10% lifesteal. I also found a really nice rare crystal sword that has dual leech. See that it's got mana and lifesteal, and it has a socket, which is cool. It's got decent damage. It has dual steel, and it's got a socket. But, again, our steel war sword, still a little bit better. And I also found 2 of these. Found 2 of the Soulflay Claymores. And these are really neat because it also is a 2-handed sword, does really strong damage, and it has dual lifesteal along with all resist. But I'm a Paladin. I want a shield because I've got Holy Shield, and unless this thing here is giving us the most amazing bonuses, it's not better than both of these together, plus that. It's just not. One thing that I noticed while I was playing and doing Mephisto runs is that I can't select it with I can't move my mouse over it, but the 50% chance of open wounds is critical against bosses, because it will cause bosses to take damage even if you are not hitting them. And bosses like Diablo, which if you guys remember took me a long time, it's invaluable. So anyway, that's what we're starting off with here. I also found a rare gem, which I will put into something eventually. But anyway, that's it for now. We're going to get started in Hell difficulty level, or excuse me, Nightmare difficulty level here for Diablo 2 at Mahalo Games.